On August 15th, 2016, Austin Harrouff was out eating dinner at a restaurant with his family. Michonne and her husband, John Stevens III, were at their home, just an average night, where they would sit in their garage and enjoy their lives. They had a kind of hangout set up in that garage near Tequesta, Florida, where they enjoyed sitting and socializing, and they would often leave the garage door open. In only a few hours, the lives of the three would collide, seemingly at random, and would end with Michelle and John dead and Austin in hospital with critical injuries. At some point during the meal with his family, Austin became agitated and stormed off. His parents were so worried about how he was behaving that they called police and some of Harrouff's fraternity brothers. He was a student at Florida State. He wandered the streets and walked 3 miles, removing articles of his clothing on the way until he ended up outside that garage. His parents would say that in the weeks before August 15th, his behavior had begun to change. He had purchased hallucinogenic mushrooms a few days before and had extensive texts with friends about his drug use leading up to that night. His parents set up an appointment for him to be evaluated, but that wouldn't happen. He would commit terrible crimes first. His father would also tell authorities that schizophrenia ran in the family. Harrouff told Dr. Phil during an appearance on that show that he was having delusions of grandeur and paranoia. He would also say he was fleeing a demon that night. A 911 call was made to the house where Michelle and John lived. It was made from across the street and described the terrible fight that was happening. Police arrived to find Harrouff stabbing the couple and trying to bite through John's face. Neighbor Jeff Fisher, who was 47, tried to help the couple but was also hurt. They were stabbed with their own tools and with a pocket knife. Martin County Sheriff's deputies tried to tase Harrouff, but he was not stopping. They deployed a canine, but Harrouff did not stop. Two deputies would say that it took all their strength to get him under control. He tried to drink some sort of chemical during the attack, which caused him critical injury. Authorities thought in the beginning that he was high on a substance like flakka or bath salts, but there was nothing at all that showed up on his toxicology reports. The trial was supposed to begin on November 28, 2022. Instead, Harrouff entered a plea of not guilty by reason of insanity. That was in agreement with prosecutors. The plea was accepted and Harrouff was ordered to a mental hospital. He will stay there until medical professionals determine that he is not a risk to society if he were returned. The plea and the decision to send Harrouff to a mental hospital angered family members of Michelle and John. They do not believe that Harrouff was insane during the attack, and they criticize the lack of communication from prosecutors as well. The number of family that showed for the decision and spoke showed just how loved and missed their missing loved ones are. It also shows how deeply the decision to send Harrouff to treatment impacts the family. The decision does not offer closure or healing or peace for them. After the decision, state prosecutors would say they are considering pushing for changes in the law, feeling like their hands were tied in trying to get any sort of prison sentence for Harrouff. They wanted to look at the option of having a plea of guilty but insane in Florida, and also they want the state to expand on their definition of voluntary intoxication. One expert would say that any psychosis Harrouff was suffering was withdrawal psychosis. He wasn't available for trial, though, due to health reasons. We may never understand why Harrouff did the evil things he did that night. There was no connection to the couple, no provocation by them. Experts for each of the prosecution and the defense said it was a psychotic episode. They say he had psychosis during a manic episode of bipolar disorder. That Harrouff lacked the intention to be held criminally responsible for what he did. He appears to have decompensated quickly, going from a 19-year-old college student with decent grades to someone who randomly viciously attacked entirely innocent people. He's been in a secure mental health facility for a year and a half now. He could be there for decades more, or 6 months more. It's hard to say. Whether the law changes in the future or not, it won't likely affect Harrouff, and it will be up to another court at another time to determine when he's released. If you're enjoying these videos and want more, don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notifications so that you don't miss any videos. Thank you for watching. We really appreciate it.